St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop.
Shout out to the St. Louis City Boys podcast.
They're in your head just like Roman Berkey. This is a City Boys podcast.
City leads you into the City Boys podcast right now.
Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. My name is Ethan, and I'm joined by two of my best friends, Jacob and Grayson. And this week, we are going to be talking about St. Louis City's very heartbreaking 3-2 loss to the San Jose Earthquakes. We're going to break down the lineups, get into the game, give you our 3 points, unlike St. Louis City, break it down with Kick Clash, and then preview the Chicago Fire in our midweek Open Cup matchup. But before we get into all that exciting stuff, allow me to introduce our co-host. Jacob, you're looking the flyest of us all tonight. How are you doing?
I'm
Sorry,
doing pretty good. Fresh cut over the weekend, so the hair's feeling nice. Did a fair bit of shopping, hung out with my girlfriend and her family, and to cap it off, I crashed my car this weekend. So dealing with that, more answers to my questions than I had yesterday, so I'm feeling a lot less stressed out about it. Most importantly, as everyone has been able to tell me, they're just happy I'm okay, which me too, but I'm unhappy my premium is about to skyrocket. Grayson, how was your weekend? I know it was filled with a lot more fun than I had.
I did have a good time. Celebrated a bachelor party weekend for one of my best friends, Matt. Congratulations to him. Played some golf in the morning, went barbecuing, went to the City game afterwards, and then I also, I got a new car. Jacob also got a new car. Yeah, no big deal. Not as fun of a story, so it'll do. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, hang out with the boys. It's a long weekend. I'm tired.
Likewise, fellas, it was a long weekend. I actually ran a marathon this past weekend, my first one. I ran a 4:07, 7 minutes above my goal time, but I spent Sunday, completely wiped out. I slept for a good, strong 12 hours.
Wow.
Thinking about St. Louis City and dreaming about one day when we'll win our second game of the year. It was not to be against the San Jose Earthquakes, despite what I thought it would be. So let's get into the game a little bit. Grayson, will you take us through the lineups, please?
I will. Looks like we asked for rotation last week, and Damet said, okay, a little. So we changed it up a little bit. We still got the 3-4-1-2, Roman Berkey between the sticks, a back line of Dante Polvara, Timo Baumgartel, and Lucas McNaughton. Our rotation here on the left wing, we've got Thomas Totland back in the starting lineup, and gosh, it was good to see him. We got Edelman and Durkin in the pivot, of course, Conrad Valem on the right, and then in the 10, attacking 10, we've got Marcel Hartel on the left, Cordova on the right, and Betcher starting up top. We did have a bunch of subs. 75th minute, Brendan McSorley. 81st, we got Toykert coming in. We did have Edu Leuven come in the 85th, along with Rafa Santos for Totland to finish out the match. So I was really hoping to get Leuven in there a lot earlier, get him a lot more time on the pitch, but it was quite loud in the stadium. He got a standing ovation when it was time for him to come back on the pitch. Everyone was excited. We were hoping to get back into the match with that, but it wouldn't be, and we would lose 3-2. It's a little painful. But let's talk about the match itself. Let's get into it. It kind of just started off with a bang. What minute was it when this happened? Like the 8th minute and they scored?
Yeah, that sounds right. The 8th.
Oh, it was the 8th. And yeah, it was a frustrating one. Again, just because I personally think that Cordova got fouled in the buildup. I think you guys saw it. It might be a little soft, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think that should have been called back for a foul in the buildup, or would you say play on there? I think it was Romney climbing over Cordova on the left side.
I'm saying 9 times out of 10, that is a foul on the defender. It's as a former defender, the amount of times that you get away with pushing yourself up off the back or shoulders of an attacker is sometimes hilarious, but now as a fan, it's not so funny to witness. And seeing Cordova get climbed like a ladder was kind of funny when I thought that it was going to lead to a foul for St. Louis City. And watching San Jose continue to play on, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a few St. Louis City shoulders drop in that moment, which was frustrating because then we're immediately caught out of position, and that led to a goal so early on. And immediately, pretty early on, once again, St. Louis City are playing from behind. The story of the season so far, it feels like.
Yeah, for me, this is another one of those instances where everybody in the stadium knows it's a foul, and then the referee doesn't call a foul. What are we doing?
Final note on this goal: I think Preston Jett is a turd. So I'm not. That's all.
Not a Preston Judd fan.
Not a Preston Judd fan.
He might respond to you on Twitter if you tell him that. He is very active on social media.
I think that's not a good look.
He's got a terrible name, Preston Judd.
Really? Preston Judd.
Anyways.
So San Jose is leading the match until halftime, but not on the field. On the field, St. Louis City is controlling the match, getting chance after chance, hitting the post twice, squandering 2 breakaway chances. I don't want to name names, Marcel Hartl, but he did have 2 big chances to score early on. But right after halftime, St. Louis would finally finish their chances and score 2 in 2 minutes and take charge in that match. The main takeaways from this, I think, are my mixed reviews of Sergio Cordova. A lot of people were hyping him up for his first half performance, which I saw nothing in the first half from him that excited me. I did check at halftime because I saw a lot of people talk about it. He went 9 for 11 on passes. That's it. I didn't see any dribbling sequences. I didn't see a shot. I didn't see anything that made me go, "Oh my God." I don't know. But then he scores, so that did make me say, "Oh my God." So I will eat that. I'm not saying he's great, but I will say you've earned yourself a couple more minutes in my book.
My thoughts on Sergio Cordova, especially in the first half, is that I thought he was deployed in a really interesting position. It seemed like he was essentially a really wide attacking mid, not really getting back on defense, and much wider than Marcel Hartl was positioned. It's just, for me, a weird place for Cordova to be playing. He's all right at taking on players, but it's not like he has the speed and build of a winger. For me, I think he should be playing through the center and being a target man in the middle, potentially a threat to get on the end of crosses or service. I don't know. That's where I see Cordova thriving, and definitely did not see him in that role in the first half.
Yeah, it's weird to say that we bought a DP striker who has not played striker yet. Still.
Yeah, Simon Betcher is dispositioned him.
Yeah, that's just a weird thing to say too.
True.
So that was the first takeaway. Or Jacob, do you have anything to say on Cordova?
Yeah, I was going to say, despite his goal, which was it was well worked by him to continue his run, and it was honestly just an even better pass from Marcel Hartl to put him in that spot. Despite his goal, I still wasn't impressed with his all-around performance. I did see that he was upset to be subbed off instead of the likes of Simon Betcher, who I don't think had a great game either.
Sure.
However, Cordova did score in this one, so I guess you give points to Cordova camp. But I'm still unimpressed with Cordova's output so far this season.
Same. Not enough.
And then this second takeaway is just that Marcel Hartle continues to be that guy for St. Louis City. I think even with Edu back, it will only turn it up. I think it'll turn up the heat. I think Marcel is having his best season for St. Louis City so far. And I think his consistency has definitely been a strength of his, and I think we're going to continue to see that through the season. And I think that Marcel Hartle will be our MVP this season. And at this point, he's going to be our top goal scorer and probably assister. We'll see. He's just going to be St. Louis City in a player.
Hey, Marcel Hartel's not a sister. No, I think that he probably will be our most productive player by some margin. He far and away for me is our best player. I think that at least this season, I think that there's a good argument to be made for Roman Berkey, but there's no way he can have the same impact that Marcel Hartel can. And so in a moment where St. Louis City is missing one of our other on-field leaders and other most quality players in Edu Lovin, it's been a breath of fresh air to see him step up and maintain that leadership role while contributing on the score sheet. Although, like you mentioned, those first half chances really did hurt to see go to waste, Grayson. And I think if he puts those away on a consistent basis, we're looking at one of the best players in the league, period. And I think that St. Louis City fans know that we have that already, but he could be putting the league on notice, is what I mean to say.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I think he's, if he finishes those chances, I think he is definitely I think in our minds, like you just said, St. Louis City fans know that he is possibly a top 5 number 10 in the league, in my mind. But I think probably top 10. But if he's finishing those chances, he's definitely a top 5 player, not just number 10.
Be hard to argue.
So moving on into the match, San Jose would come back from being 2-1 down and go up 3-2 and win the match on the back of a penalty given away from Conrad Vollum, who had a generationally bad game. One of the worst games from Conrad Vollum I've ever seen. 2 penalties in two games for him. I think he just needs a little bit of time on the bench. Just a little, maybe a week. We could even see him as a sub. I don't care. I just think it would be best to give him some time to rest and refresh.
We know that Conrad Vollum has tons to offer on the field as far as attacking and defending, but it gets to a point where sometimes when you're a player, you're forcing it. You're trying almost too hard. Not to say that effort's not great, but you're trying to affect the game too much. And that's what I see from Conrad Vollum. I see a player trying to impact the game in a positive way, and it goes south for him. Really it's unlucky, but yeah, Grayson, I think that maybe a week or two not starting would be good for Conrad Vollum. I think that a lot of St. Louis City fans who have called for rotations, including myself, feel like now is the time more than ever with a midweek match in Austin, who have also been underperforming on the weekend. So I would really like to see Thomas Totlin and Santos start as our combination wingbacks, or even Mekhi Joyner. I think that Mekhi Joyner had a very good argument to be in a starting role, and would love to see Damet rotate the squad now at this point. I don't see why Vollum would keep starting. Please convince me otherwise, but I would be shocked.
Yeah, to your point, Ethan, about Conrad Vollum forcing himself too much in the game, there's not a ton of him letting the game come to him as far as production goes, not just scoring goals or getting assists, but trying to impact so much that he finds himself caught out of position. So then he's scrambling to get on the man who's on the ball in the box, ends up taking him down. He does nick the ball, but he does have to come through the back of the player to do so. the player goes down, not easy. Like it's a pen every single day.
Hmm.
But this is the second week in a row of a continued steep decline in which, yeah, time on the bench, I think will suit him as far as just give his mind a rest, give him a breather, let him come back in 2 games with fresh legs and a fresh head and play more simple, more composed, confident on the ball, take people on like we've been asking since the beginning of the season,
Hmm.
and let the game come to you. It's a lot easier when the game comes to you, I promise.
Yeah, I think
Well
he's
said.
probably been feeling the pressure to try and get back to his form. He just got rewarded with a big new contract here in St. Louis. So the pressure's on, and I think giving him a break will help relieve some of that pressure, let him slow down his game and just focus on fundamentals, get back to it. Because we know Conrad Valum can be a fantastic player for us. Last goal comes through a ball getting smacked over the top. Dante Polvara gets turned, clean cross, smashed home by Timo Werner. It's an easy goal there. My big note here was I was actually pretty excited to watch Timo Werner play as a Chelsea fan. This is a Champions League winner, played for Chelsea and Tottenham, and gosh, he did not look good in against St. Louis. He really didn't. He got an 8.8 from FOTMob. He got 2 goals. I'll give him that. But a penalty and a smashed home volley from like just outside the 6-yard box. It's good, but I just didn't see him actually create anything on his own, which is really interesting. I guess
Bro,
maybe I'm biased.
I what's so crazy to me is that Roman Berkey has played against a lot of great players in his time. He was at Dortmund during the Ribéry and Robben era of Bayern Munich, as well as Lewandowski. For some reason, this man Timo Werner is the one who must be giving him nightmares, man. He's been scoring on him for the longest time, it feels like. I was like, finally, it's on Roman's turf. Roman's got this. Timo, quiet game. Timo Baumgartel used to be teammates. So we had a Timo squared moment, but no, he's on fire this season. And San Jose are just, I think, a squad that, I mean, it feels like they just can't be beat right now. St. Louis City played, in my opinion, one of their best 90-minute performances of the season. The first half, I thought we looked good. We had so many attacking chances that just we couldn't put away, and we end up conceding a goal late on to a very good team. So really, really hard goal to concede, but also I do give credit to San Jose because they did outmatch us in the end.
To me, I think, you know what? I'm gonna save it for my point. Because I'll get into it. Before we get into the points, is there anything else we want to talk about general match wise?
I think Thomas Totland had a really good game.
That's what I was gonna say. You mentioned Mackay Joyner playing wingback, and I think a lot of people are scared of that because they're worried about Joyner's defensive capabilities. Thomas Totland played higher than Simon Betcher during this match. If we and it looks like we played that way so that Valum on the other side isn't playing as high, Cordova is playing more wide, so that we get the width on the left side from our wingback instead of Marcel Hartl. So if we want to play that way, Totland is a great right wingback. You could play Cordova or Totland and Mackay Joyner on the left and have Mackay Joyner playing really high up next to Marcel Hartl. I'd
I
like
would
to
like
see.
that,
The
Grayson.
the only hole I see in that, because I do want to see with my eyes where I get scared of that thought process tactically is Simon Betcher is not nearly as wide of a player as Cordova was in this match. You know what I mean? So there's more space for Totland to come into that area as opposed to on the Hartle side, where Hartle's deeper and more central, it just clogs that channel up a little
Oh
bit more.
yeah, well yeah, we're not gonna push both of the wingers high, wingbacks high. You only press one. So you press Joyner high on the left and keep Totland chilling.
I think my final thoughts on this game are that I would I'm a little confused. I don't know what kind of strategy Damet is employing as far as roster and subs go. I feel like Thomas Ostrak made a really big impact in the Open Cup game and now can't even feature on the bench for St. Louis City, which and I understand that we have a deep midfield at the moment and Leuven is returning, which is awesome. It's just odd to me that we haven't seen him. And I also thought that the stats for once do back up that St. Louis City did have a lot of attacking chances. We had 21 shots to their 9, which feels like I mean, it almost feels like St. Louis City from last season under David Critchley, just a really unlucky team. So I'm really hoping over the summer during that World Cup break, St. Louis City picks out our DP number 9 or 10, our striker that's going to bag goals for us, and we see our side explode. Because what I saw was St. Louis compete with this one of the best teams in the West this season. That is undeniable that San Jose has been very good this season. And they scored on all 3 of their shots on goal. St. Louis City couldn't match that. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of the game.
I mean, we still yet to keep a clean sheet with all how well we're playing defensively. We still haven't had a clean sheet this season.
Yep. Yeah, that says a lot, I think.
Well, let's go ahead and get into our points. Does anyone want to start us off?
Well, I kind of alluded to my point by saying that I don't really know what to take from this game, and that's how I'm feeling. I wish, as a St. Louis City podcaster, I could come on here with a well-informed point and break it down with stats and evidence for you guys. But after watching us take the lead against San Jose Earthquakes, who have lost one game all season, and then hold it down for a strong half hour, we couldn't finish out the game. And so I think I'm in the camp with a lot of St. Louis City fans where I really want to see first squad rotation, like Grayson alluded to in last week's episode. Grayson, I think that point still rings true today, and rotation could see St. Louis City be more successful. But I also want to see earlier subs from Damet. I think that 10 weeks into this season, there is a pattern showing of substitutions coming on too late and making an impact too late, not being able, or not having enough time to change the game. So I would like to see earlier substitutions, whether that's Cedric Twyker, whether that's Brendan McSorley, and EU Lovin is returning to full fitness. So I have hope on that front, but I think that it needs to be recognized earlier when our attack could use an injection of momentum, of energy, even if it's the midfield. So that's what I'm hoping to see in the Chicago Fire game coming up. I want to see the squad rotated, even though we will need a strong 11 to beat the Chicago Fire. And I want to see earlier substitutions. I'm not talking about halftime, but I think that period of time between the 60 and 75th minute is potentially really hurting St. Louis City. So that's my point for this week, is that I don't know what to take from this game other than earlier subs and more rotation. What do you guys think?
For me, I agree, but I actually really want to see some defensive rotation. I think it's about time we see, Falu Fall make it into the lineup.
Yep.
Mbake make it into the lineup. Just anything. We've seen Dante and Timo have played every match, I believe, this season. So I think we should give them a rest too. I will say Timo has been one of my favorite players this season. Dante I've liked, but kind of like Conrad Valum, I think he just needs a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, I agree. I think my point for this week is how long of a leash do we as a fan base have for these matches in which in the like post-match pressers, Damet comes on the microphone and his main point from each game is we have to be more clinical in those critical moments, both attacking and defending. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
when do we become more clinical in those moments? Like I'm gonna believe that you work on it every week in training, but we break down to concede goals and we've scored 7 total goals this season, maybe less than that.
If that.
So in the attacking clinical moments, we're not being critical. And then in the critical defensive moments, we're not able to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Are we just, does this team just lack a clutch factor?
Hmm.
Is that whatchamacallit? Do we see that because of the makeup of the club right now? Like, is that from the top down that we're not clinical? We don't have the clinical players? Because I don't choose to believe that. I think Marcel Hartl is a very clinical player. I think Roman Berkey's very clinical and clutch.
Hmm.
So where's the discrepancy between the philosophy and then the production on the field? I don't I don't want to point at Yohan Damet as the reason for that, but I don't know where else to look. I'm not at all saying Damet out at this point, but like, dude, we keep losing. We have the least points through 10 games than we've had since our start as a club.
I I I I hear what you're saying. I don't think I agree with you that I don't think it's DeMay because St. Louis being not clinical has been an issue for multiple seasons. I'd say 3 of our 4 seasons has been a story of we are winning and then we concede late and lose, or we're tying and we concede late and lose, or we're winning and then they come back and tie it and we lose points. It's we're consistently dropping points from winning positions. This is like a staple in the St. Louis history at this point. And I think it's partly part of it's like I think it's a mindset thing, because if it keeps happening under different managers, we obviously can't blame the managers. We can blame some players, but we've also seen 3 or 4 different transfer markets of different players brought in by different sporting directors now. So it's interesting to see and figure out, like, where is this mentality issue coming from? And I think it's partly just because we are a young club. Like, even though we're not the youngest club around anymore, we still don't have a history of winning things. We have one good season of winning, and we couldn't build off of that. So I think we just don't have that groundwork to rely on. We're still building that.
So it's a culture issue. We don't have enough culture
I think it
of
is.
winning to believe that we can win.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, actually.
Mm.
Well, for me, culture starts with the front office. Your front office
Yeah.
builds the culture of a team. We're on to our second sporting director now. Lutz historically was not and is not a winning sporting director. He's really good at building an academy. I'll give him that. But as far as like production at the top level, Lutz doesn't have a ton of that under his belt. We've yet to see it from Corey Ray.
We're
So is this? I
9
don't.
games in.
I don't want to wait for this roster to essentially be completely overhauled for us to start a winning culture.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna have to wait for, because I mean, we're 9 games into the season with 6 points. I don't see us being able to turn that around. Even if we do get world-class DP, which we're not getting because we're an MLS team. A world-class for the MLS. If we get, a 20-goal
The
striker,
Erling Haaland of the MLS.
we still could miss playoffs. Like it's quite possible. Like Pitar Musa plays for Dallas. Jovic plays for Kansas City. So I think we'll have to be patient, and it does kind of lead into my point.
Go ahead.
Take it away.
My point for this week is that an L is an L, and I say that because I fear that us as a fan base, but also as a club, are becoming complacent in our losses. But like, what else can we do? Because right now we can't build roster-wise. The team is constantly looking like it's on the verge of being good, which makes a lot of fans like happy enough to walk away from a game like this and not be super frustrated. I mean, we hit the post 2 times. We had a pen. We hit the post 2 times. We got scored on by a penalty. There was a no call and a foul in the build-up. So we should have won this game. We were winning, but should have won the game is not winning the game. A loss, it doesn't matter how many good losses we have. Good losses don't get us 3 points or 1 point. It gets us 0 points. So we're 9 games in. We've seen a lot of positives, but those positives aren't getting us points. I think we're going to have to be patient and find the good things, and that's the only thing that is going to keep us sane as St. Louis City fans. So as much as this point is about being mad at other fans for being complacent, you also have to find those positives for us to stay patient and see the bright side at the end of this tunnel. Because St. Louis City will be a good team. We will be. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get there, but I will be there when it happens. You best believe.
What an optimistic conclusion to that point, Grayson. That was a roller coaster of a
I don't know
point.
how I got there.
You took me for a ride there because you started and I was like, yeah, damn, we are low key in the mud right now. I mean, we're not Sporting Kansas City, but
We're not much better.
We're not much better.
barely. Yeah, we're gonna be having the mid off of the Midwest when we play them in July. No, you're right, Grayson, and I think it speaks to Jacob's point about how long is the leash. But from a rational standpoint, we know that a new head coach and a new sporting director aren't necessarily going to impact the change that we need to see at St. Louis City in 10 games in the half season before the World Cup break. And so you're right in needing to have patience. And I think that we do a decent job on here of trying to take the positives away from St. Louis City games. But I think to the start of your point, there is a level of impatience that we have and that I think is good to keep the fire underneath the front office, because I think that St. Louis City at some point did recognize last season that, okay, it has to go, even if it's not going to fix the problems right now, right here. This will take us in the right direction. And so it's hard to see that right now because, like Jacob said, we have the least amount of points through our first 10 games that we have since the club has existed. So what positives can we really take away from that? But when you do watch the play on the field, you see it. You see it, you feel it. You do feel the culture around the team changing. So I am with you on your conclusion as well. But yeah, right now it's really hard to feel optimistic about St. Louis City.
Jacob?
Thank you, Teacher Grayson. I had 2 expectations going into this season. One, we were probably going to be ass. That expectation has been checked. The second one was to not be drowning by the time we got reinforcements at the summer transfer window. We are drowning. To be fair, a playoff spot is only 6 points away, but we've also only gotten 6 points this season. So it seems so far away.
It does.
So a loss is a loss is a loss, and we can be bright-sided as much as we can. But boys, I want to watch St. Louis City in the cold in games that truly matter, where we're playing for chips, whether that's US Open Cup, which actually that won't be in the cold. It'll be really hot by the time that final rolls around.
Yeah.
Whether it's for we won't win a supporter shield, but for MLS silverware somehow. I can't take any positives from this season so far, except for I guess Edu's back on the field. That's my main positive so far this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a like the weather outside currently. What a dark and cloudy time for St. Louis City. It
is.
genuinely is hard to be optimistic, but I'm with you there, Grayson. I'm trying to take these positives away. It's not so easy. When the City Boys got more points than the team does, man, it's brutal times.
Every week we have more points than St. Louis City.
Not every. Just the one.
All but one so far.
All
Well,
right.
gents.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up San Jose with a round of Kit Clash. Bing, 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 bing. All right, so this one is a fun one.
Really?
Damn near got a heavyweight matchup in Kit Clash.
This is a fun one. This is a fun one. I'm not saying it's good. All I'm saying is it's fun. This is a Grateful Dead inspired jersey from San Jose here. The psychedelic influence. It's just tie-dye. I honestly, I wish I've seen some Grateful Dead tie-dye shirts that go absolutely nutty. And this is like the most basic tie-dye I've ever seen. If we're going Grateful Dead on this, I wanna go full Grateful Dead on this. We need the skull logo. I wanna see it all. And it's just not enough. It's not enough. I like the influence, but I think you needed to step it up to a 10, and this is like a 2. My rating, though, I'm going to give it a 6.
All right, I have a sweet treat for our YouTube viewers because Grayson is right. Grateful Dead t-shirts go ridiculous. I have one that my Uncle Charlie gave me. Shout out to him. This is older than me. It's 30 years old. It is ridiculous. It's got a teddy bear dunking a basketball on it. This is the most ridiculous, coolest t-shirt that I own. So I love this kit. I don't know where we were, but
basically that's what I was saying was I wanted that energy on the jersey. It's like that is like a 10, and they took the tie-dye and they're like, yeah, let's just make it tie-dye. It's like they heard someone say, oh, Grateful Dead shirts, they're tie-dye, but they've never looked up a photo of a Grateful Dead shirt that's got tie-dye on it because it's crazy. So I gave it a 6. I gave it a 6.
Oh, you rated that kit a 6? Jacob, did you rate it?
I have not rated it yet. Go ahead, Ethan.
Well, maybe you guys can guess that I'm pretty high on this kit. I think that the tie-dye is a really cool homage to pay. Even if they didn't quite hit the nail on the head, Grayson, I won't even argue with you there. But for me, uniqueness in a kit goes dummy, and that is a 10 out of 10 uniqueness. I've never seen another tie-dye kit. If y'all can find one, let me see it. But I've yet to see something this cool, so I'm going for a 9.5 on the San Jose Earthquakes Grateful Dead kit. San Jose has had banger after banger in Kit Clash.
Well, this is going to be a judgment from a guy wearing just a gray long sleeve shirt tonight. Okay. I think there's a fine line between good, unique, and trash.
I see where this is going.
And I don't think they did well with this kit. I personally am not a fan of tie-dye in general. Um, they always make me think of people I did not like in school. Those people were tied up a lot.
Camp counselors.
Yeah, those type of people, power to their head way too early. Um, so this kid is not a 9.5 for me. It is also not a 6. This kid is falling flat on its face with a 4 for me.
Ooh,
Dang.
Yeah.
heavy
If someone
variation.
gifted me this kid, I would ask for the receipt and just take the money.
Damn.
That's brutal. That's brutal. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alrighty. So that wraps up the San Jose match for this week. Let's talk U.S. Open Cup. We've got a preview, and we're talking about the Chicago Fire, who I just want to say are on a 6-game unbeaten streak. One of those games was a draw. So they had 5 wins out of the 6 games. But they've been close except for this last match against against Kansas City. And they smashed Kansas City 5-0. Thanks for that. We're not Kansas City, though. What do you guys think is going to happen this match?
Grayson, did you see who they lost to last?
San Jose, wasn't it?
DC United.
Oh, it
One of
was.
the
Yeah.
MLS worst teams this season. They're not on the level of Sporting Kansas City or Montreal Impact, but I think they are in the tier of St. Louis City teams so far this year. So honestly, that result gives me some hope. Them smacking around Sporting Kansas City doesn't really move me because Sporting Kansas City lost to a college team. Well, they did beat them this summer, but they typically lose to a college team every summer. So for me, the Chicago Fire are a team that deserves respect, though. Greg has done a decent job over there, but I give their credit to their players, specifically their Fox in the box, Hugo Kuipers. It seems like this guy is finding himself in the top 3 or 5 goal scorers in the MLS consistently. So got to look out for him. And one of their newest additions, Philip Zinkernagel. We talked about him a lot last year, and for good reason. He is off to a pretty good start this season. So those are my players to look out for. I'm expecting a pretty good matchup here, to be honest. I think that this is a rivalry that's been brewing for some time that we've been clamoring for, and I'm hoping that the domestic tournament can provide us with that upset or that thrill.
The thrill. I didn't realize that, one, Hugo Kuipers now has 8 goals in the season. So he's got 8 goals in 9 matches.
Believe he's second in the league
Pretty
for
nasty.
scoring. Yeah, he's up there with Peter Musa and Sam Surridge.
Pretty nasty. And then the other one that I forgot. So oh my god, I keep wanting to call him San Jose. I almost called him Kansas City. Chicago's last transfer window was pretty crazy, and they brought in a lot of big names that completely revamped how Chicago looked in the league last season. Well, they only slowed down a little bit. They brought in Robin Lod, which is a pretty crazy pickup. And he did score on us last time we played him for Minnesota.
I think he scored on us in the Open Cup as well.
Not this time, Betty. Do you guys think we're going to go through on this one, though? How do you guys feel?
If this were an MLS matchup, if this were a league matchup, I would not feel nearly as optimistic as I do. For all the low-key shit you can say, I talked on Yohan Damet tonight. I think Yohan Damet's got the boys up for this one. I think he's going to lean into that, St. Louis versus Chicago rivalry. Okay. He might even be like, hey, we don't have a ton going for us in the league this year, but we're going to win something this year, and it's going to come in the shape of a U.S. Open Cup trophy. Those boys in red don't look nearly as good as we do in red. Chicago, Schmago. Who cares
Trivago.
about the Lake Michigan that they got. We got the Mississippi River over here, all right? Do you know how much trade went down in the Mississippi River centuries ago? They don't know nothing about that old money up in Chicago because we got it here in the Lou. And the people in the Lou with that money support this team. They pay your fucking check. So you boys need to go out there and put on a performance in Chicago that's been unseen from a city team since 2022, 23. I have St. Louis winning this in a thriller that you called for, Ethan. I think this is going to be a scrappy, nasty, lots of fouls, at least 8 yellow cards, 2
Ooh,
on in extra time.
give it
St.
to
Louis
us.
winner. And since I'm going first, motherfuckers, I got Marcel Hartle as my goal scorer.
What a cheapskate. Watch, this is going to be the first game he doesn't start all year.
Hey, if Marcel Hartle's going to take me to a Barbie Dior, that'll be the greatest thing he's done for the City Boys podcast. It's this guy here.
Grayson, how you feeling?
I'm going to say quick. I have a series of predictions. My first prediction is that Damet only gave Leuven 5 minutes because he's starting this match against Chicago. That's prediction 1. Prediction 2 is that we're going to overtime because we're going to be tied after full time. So we're going to OT, and for my final prediction, it's going to be another 3-2 match with a goal from Mackay Joyner. Back-to-back U.S. Open Cup goals. He'll probably come off the bench and score. Are we gonna win though? Are we gonna win?
I like the Mackay Joyner shout. If there's anybody to do it, it'd be a St. Louis boy.
Fantastic shout.
You know what? I'm gonna say we squeak through. We might even go to pens, but we're gonna get through here. Let's go.
Before I predict my prediction for the game, I'm going to predict how the next City Boys episode is going to go. It's going to go, we get really down bad about the state of the team. We give our points and vent and get it all out. And then in the preview, we hype ourselves up and predict a W. Because every single
We're gonna win, bitch.
we find ourselves
We're gonna
predicting
win.
wins that just never come because we talk ourselves into believing. And you know what?
Bruh,
We've done it again. We've done it again. Jacob has me fired up. I could feel it while he was talking. I was like, yeah. St. Louis City are gonna go through. God darn it. So, with that being said, in the spirit of a traditional City Boys episode, I'm predicting a victory. I think the boys in red are going to go to Chicago and take it home because they have the pride of the city behind them. I am predicting a low-scoring shootout, 1-0 St. Louis City to squeak through in extra time, and I love the yellow card thrillers. I would love to see a red card in this Open Cup game. Give us some spark. Give us some, one might even say, fire from this game, gentlemen. That's what I want to see. I want to see the fellas up for it, like you said, Jacob. So I'm going to pick a player who I think has been a real dog this season and give it to Chris Durkin.
Hell yeah.
I'm picking Christopher Durkin to score, which is...
He's got one.
Yo, Chris has been one of my favorite. Him and Timo Baumgartel have been some of my favorite players.
I almost
this
picked
season.
Timo for a goal.
Oh, I'd love that too.
I
go back and forth on Timo, but yeah, I do agree that he has a dog factor about him, most definitely. Him and McNaughton. I like McNaughton. I noticed. I think that we have some dogs in the back line. They just got to stop conceding goals.
So McNaughton said something to Timo Werner that made him turn around fast, but not say anything. You didn't say shit.
He was with the extracurriculars in the box too, so I'm all about that. When you're a defender, your job is to go get in the head of the other team and make sure they mess up, and McNaughton's about that. So I love it. That's how Jacob, you got me freaking fired up.
Yeah,
all right.
Damet, don't have a team talk. Just play the clip of me talking.
Watch this. Don't watch this full City Boys episode.
Yeah,
Just watch the end.
skip to the end.
Watch the preview. Let's hit any grab bags before we call this one.
Yeah, so there's some news in the MLS starting today, actually, as reported by Thomas Bogert, the Tommy Bomb himself, on April 27th. There have been I forget the word to use, but a myriad of MLS officials coming together to discuss the Vancouver Whitecaps potentially becoming the Las Vegas Whitecaps. And I would like to put my very small platform foot down and say, no, the Vancouver Whitecaps need to be the Vancouver Whitecaps till the end of time. We don't need to see a Las Vegas MLS team unless it's one purchased and done the right way.
Facts.
Don't go buy a club and move it there. Do your bid. Send hundreds of millions of dollars into the pockets of all the other owners. That's the right thing to do.
Do it the right way.
League. All right.
Don't
Ethan had a
steal
great
someone else.
statement. I'm not going to take it from him, but it's a perfect description of what it would be.
It's just so plastic, Jacob. You can't tell me that the Vancouver Whitecaps will go to Las Vegas and have deep roots in the town. The fans will be plastic. I'm sorry. And this is coming from a new expansion side fan. So we can speak to it. We know, damn it. We know.
It's not like Vancouver's not a good sports city either. It's like
no, truly.
Vancouver.
And in all seriousness, the Vancouver Whitecaps fans are in love with that team, and with good reason. They've been around since the 90s. They've been around a long time. They've wanted new owners for a long time. When we dove into the Whitecaps and learned about the Saputo family, it was really disappointing. So I hope that Vancouver succeeds. I hope that they find new owners. If you're a rich person listening to this podcast, first of all,
what are you doing?
Second of all,
sponsor us.
go save the Caps. So I'm with Jacob. I think the City Boys podcast is vehemently hashtag save the Caps. Keep them in Vancouver. We don't want them in Vegas.
Because it's also not like they're a bad team either. The Vancouver Whitecaps are so good.
They made real names for themselves. Yeah, they have history. The Cascadia Cup between them and Seattle. It's real MLS heritage, which sounds almost laughable considering it's a 30-year-old league. But I stand by it.
Yeah.
I think the Caps should stay in Vancouver.
If they move, they would probably have to rebrand, and it would just taint the history of the club. It'd be
Las Vegas Sandcaps.
Sandcastles.
Yeah, boo.
The Las Vegas Cacti.
Casinos, Las
The
Vegas.
Las Vegas Green. Las Vegas Dinero.
Las Vegas doesn't hear.
All right, let's get out of here. Enough
the Vegas
waffling.
Gamblers. Oh yeah, I guess the get out of here is my cue.
That's your job. This is your job.
Yeah, if you've been watching this far, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if you're on YouTube. Follow, rate 5 stars, and comment if you are listening on Spotify. Go follow all of our socials. They've been popped up on the screen at various points, probably popped up right now. Shout out to our editor. He will continue to remain unnamed. But most importantly, folks, especially if you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas, go and tell your mother that you love her. Peace. STL. STL. STL.
Oh.
St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop. City Boys in the loop. City Boys. Turn it up, run it back, that's the crew. That's the crew. From the stands to the streets, we true. St. Louis, City Boys in the loop. Red smoke in the sky. Game day in the eye. Every play, every fight. We gon' break it down right.